Hi everyone, welcome to Eden's Secret Bubble Lovers. This week, as they say in the Great British Bake Off, it's Cake Week. We're going to be creating some cake soaps. It's a long time since I've made any, but I'm really looking forward to doing them. And it seems like we're heading back into lockdown, and I'm still here keeping you company and keeping you entertained during the lockdown. Thanks for sticking round, everyone. Hope you enjoy this week's videos. Today I'm making a soap that I've actually never used the fragrance before, and it's one I've always wanted, as you know. It's toasted marshmallow, and what is so fabulous about this fragrance is how much it richly discolours to a dark brown, very dark brown, and I love the smell of it as well, so that's why I'm excited to use it. The only thing is, I don't know whether it's gonna seize my soap or anything, so I'm gonna have to do a test just in a little bit of soap before I add it to all of the batter. So I'm just going to pop half a litre of the soap batter in there. Very simple soap today, actually. And I'm going to add 10 mils of fragrance into this container. So you can see the colour of the fragrance isn't that dark, but it has a lot of vanilla. So that's why it discolours. Now, discolouring fragrances, it's not always about vanilla. Any type of fragrance can discolour, just depends on the ingredients. That's interesting. I've actually never seen a fragrance that makes a soap go lighter when you blend it in, but I know it's not going to stay that way. So I'm just going to leave that for a little bit and see what happens. I'm pretty sure it's not going to seize or anything. But I don't want to put my fragrance into all of my soap batter and then realise later that it's going to seize and I'll not be able to pour it into these lovely cake moulds that I've got here. And rather than, when I've made cakes in the past, I've always made them in a single unit, like a 10-inch mould, and then cut them. But it's very hard to get every single slice the same size. So I saw these moulds on Amazon, and I just bought quite a few of them. Because for Christmas I actually want to do a few different versions of a cake slice. It's just like going back to basics, really. Just a simple cake slice with some piping on the top of it. People often do ask me, could I do the cake slices again? So that's why I'm doing them today. So we can see that this fragrance isn't going to seize at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip it straight in to my large pan. Now, I bought a new tripod, and this is the highest that I can get the tripod. So I'm sorry that you can't see into the pan. It smells gorgeous. Yum, 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 yum. It's actually beautiful when you cut into it, when you've got a really bad discolouring fragrance like this. the outer edge that's touching the air goes really, really dark brown, and then you're left with whatever colour's inside. So just for this one, I'm actually not going to put any colour into the soap. I'm just going to use a plain soap like this, add the fragrance, and go from there. It's nice and strong. Absolutely delicious. So I'm going to need another cupful of that. So I'm putting about 125 grams of fragrance into this soap. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pour that into the container and then pour the soap into my moulds. I'm not sure how many it's going to make, but these cavities do look quite big, and I used to get 32 slices out of my soap, but that was including the piping on top. With this, what I'm doing is I'm making the bases today, and then I'm going to pipe on the top tomorrow, which is it's just because I want to pipe all across the top and then down the back side of the down the back side of the cake slice. So what I mean is here, so I want to pipe across the top, down the back side, but leaving the cake so you can actually see the colour of the base. Seems like it soaks beautifully. I'm hoping when we come back tomorrow, the top of these will already be brown. But I just thought I better get some soap made, because you haven't had any soap videos for a couple of weeks, I don't think. The last one was the 2020 collab video that I did. Let's see if we can get this one full. If we don't, I'm going to steal some from the others. Actually, it probably doesn't matter because I can use this one to cut at the end. I'm going to actually do like an ASMR cut at the end So that one will be okay. It's not that short of butter. Okay, so I was expecting these to be brown already. It's obviously the next day, and it's time to unmold these beauties. I don't know how long they're going to take to go brown. I really wish they were already brown though, because I just think it would look better for making the video. But it's definitely discoloured, definitely. It's a lovely creamy caramelly colour. I'm just going to put this one to one side because that one's a bit smaller than the others. So I was thinking I would trim them up, but they don't need it because I'm going to pipe on the top. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to give them all a spray, a good spray with rubbing alcohol. And I'm just going to leave that to soak in and evaporate, and then we'll pipe on the top. Okay, so I've got a quarter of a batch in here. It's just my regular recipe, and we're just going to blend that up. We've already got the lye solution in there. And in here I've got a teaspoonful of titanium dioxide dissolved into warm water. All that's going in because I want a nice crisp frosty topping for this one. And because we've got a lot of cake slices to frost, I'm actually not going to put any fragrance into these. Obviously the toasted marshmallow discolours terribly. I mean, I don't think it's terrible when it discolours really dark brown, but it does discolour really strongly. and I don't want to put a different fragrance in. I really want this to be a toasted marshmallow soap. So you don't have to put the fragrance in all of the soap. You can just put it in the majority of the soap. So this just being exactly the same recipe as my regular batch, only a quarter of the weight. Frosting is simply your regular recipe, and you just allow it to thicken up. So it will take a long time to come to piping consistency because it doesn't have any fragrance in, because I actually want the batter to stay fluid for as long as I can. Not fluid like this, but just at a piping consistency for as long as possible, because I've got quite a few toppings to put on quite a few cake slices, and I don't want it to thicken up too much, because if it does thicken up too much, that can make it difficult to stick to the base. And the softer it is as a frosting, the better it will actually stick. You don't want it to separate. You really want it to stick very well onto the bases that you're going to pipe onto. So we'll come back when that's ready to frost. Okay, it's now time to pipe these beauties. So I've got my favourite PME Arts and Crafts piping bag. This is the 40 centimetre, which is 16 inches. I've got a little piping nozzle here, which is like a curved open star. It's just a small one. And that's what I'm going to be using today to pipe. Unfortunately, it just came out of a set, so it wasn't any branded set or anything like that. So I don't know what the number is, but if I find the Wilton version, I will simply pop it in the description box of the video. So let's fill this piping bag, shall we? And you see what my frosting's looking like. Just perfectly ready to pipe on top of these lovely cake slices. So I'm not going to put too much in there, just 2 spoonfuls, which is probably too much. It's quite a lot actually. And then here's the first slice here. It's discolouring very nicely, but it's not as discoloured as I'd hoped. And we're just going to start at one end. It's smelling delicious. I really had hoped that it would have discoloured to a dark brown by now, but it hasn't. But it will do. And when it does, I will do a wrapping video of what I'm going to wrap these ones like. I just want them to be pretty simple. I'm not putting any fancy shapes or anything on the top. I just want them to be pretty plain like this, and then we're just going to pop some sprinkles on. So we're just going to have piping along the back like so. And basically that is what our slice is going to look like, but the bottom will be really rich and really dark brown. I just want them to be extremely neat. So you'll have to make sure that your frosting is sticking before you pick it up, and do the back side like this. And I'm going to continue piping all of these, and then when I've finished, we'll come back and decorate them with some sprinkles. Okay, so while I'm frosting these, I want to talk a little bit about safety assessments. A lot of people ask me, well, they tell me that they try to get safety assessments done, and all the safety assessors, they won't assess anything that looks like food. Well, my assessment was done pre-2013 and those stipulations weren't around then. But what I do find very interesting is that all these years, since 2013, the safety assessors wouldn't assess anything that looks like food. They wanted to know what your soap looked like, and I think you have to send a piece of it off. What's happened just in the last month or so is one of the safety assessors has actually come up with an assessment for frosting for bath bombs. So what does that tell you? I mean, no matter what, frosting definitely looks like food, doesn't it? So I think we should all be happy about that and hope that things are going to change a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I mean, the types of things I've had problems with in the past were like small raspberries, small strawberries, chocolate bar type embeds, so things that were small that could get stuck in a child's windpipe. Now you can get those from your local trading standards office, or you can actually buy them online. And if you're making any embeds, just make sure that embed does not fit in that pipe. If it fits in the pipe, you cannot do it. Also, trading standards can send you products off for bite tests, because I know that when people see this video, some people are going to ask that question again. So I just wanted to address it today. And when you think about it, I've said this a million times, not a million times, but many, many times. Just a square piece of soap can look like a piece of fudge. And then there are other stipulations about things smelling like food. Well, if it just goes off one stipulation like that, anything fruity is off the market, surely. So that's the Body Shop can't sell anything because nearly all their stuff smells like fruit. I just wanted to discuss that just a little bit, in case you were wondering about the regulations and everything. And I definitely think if you want to know anything, just get in touch with your local trading standards office. They tend to be very helpful, especially if you ask for help from them. You can hear yapping in the background. It's the joiner. He's here again. Can't believe how lucky I've been with the amount of frosting I've made for these, because I used 1/4 of a batch and it's literally going to do all of my slices, so it's a perfect quantity. And I've still got this slice down here that's not quite a slice. I really wish that the bars are discoloured to the dark brown, but they didn't. Okay, so I've got some lovely sugar sprinkles here. Yes, they are just regular sugar sprinkles. These ones are gold and white, and the 1mm pearl white and gold sugar draggies, and they are from simplycakecraft.com. So let's open them. And we're going to sprinkle these onto these beautiful cake slices, which is so neat. Actually not as easy as I thought to pipe onto, but well worth the effort. And whatever falls onto your worktop, as long as your worktop's nice and clean, you can just scrape those back up and pop them back in your bag. And there they are, my gorgeous toasted marshmallow cake slice soaps. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Place a comment in the comment section down below. Any information you need is in the description box below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.